Okay, are we good? Tell me if you can hear me. I think you can see me. You can see myself at least. First, that's cute. Okay, awesome. Um, I live today. Like y'all, get your questions in quick because this weekend is my anniversary with my husband, and last night he planned this beautiful date where we went to a play, but it was a really like small play. There were like 40 of us in the theater. Um, and we went to a play and we went out to eat and then we went out for ice cream and we stayed up so late. So I'm really tired. But I am really lucky. It's been 17 years and he is, I don't even understand how I got so lucky to have such a great husband. Like he's just the best person in the world. Sorry, I know this is about moving to Uruguay, but I do have to just tell you how great my husband is. So we had a great time and it's been a good weekend. Okay, so put your questions in the chat and I will answer them as quickly as I can. Okay. Okay, so Julie asks, I have a 10-year-old in fifth grade in the US. At what age do children in Uruguay start secondary school? And tell me about the public school registration process. That's an excellent question. So, the first thing you need to know about school here versus school in the US is that the school year is flipped on its head because we're in the southern hemisphere. So our school year goes from March to December. So you may have a situation. I had this with my child because she has a summer birthday and we put her forward in the US and then that meant she went back here because of birthdays. So your 10-year-old, it won't necessarily matter what grade they finished in the US as much as their age and the cutoffs and things. But, you know, a 10-year-old here would be in fourth grade right now because we're in the last third of the school year. For primary school, the process is not very difficult. You don't need to have like a full translated. Sorry, my kids are being super loud over there and I don't know why. A full translated transcript and everything. For secondary, yes, there's more steps. For primary, you kind of just show up and it's by age. I would recommend, I have a Spanish tutor that I recommend to everyone. His name's Ignacio. And he also worked in the public school system here, so he knows a lot about it and he would help you if you moved here with that. And we are supposed to make a video and we have been supposed to make a video for 6 months because we're Uruguayan and that's what we do. Like it's just been going on and on. But the process for primary school for us is we just showed up and then the next day my kids started school. Yet this week, another family from the US started school with my kids, and the admin were like, "Hey, help these people because they don't speak Spanish, and you guys were there 2 years ago, so help them." And we were like, "Sure." And they just had also kind of just showed up. So with primary, it's very easy. With secondary, it's much more. Guys, I'm doing a live on YouTube. It would be very, very nice and helpful if you could stop making so much noise. I'm sorry. So secondary is a lot there's a lot more requirements, but that doesn't begin here until 7th grade, which would be like 13. Okay. Okay. Someone asks, what is the crime rate like? As a woman, do you feel safe walking and traveling around alone? Excellent. So, one of the things about crime rates, if you go on to like an expat Facebook page, you're going to think, "Oh my god, it's Mad Max out there in Montevideo, the way people talk." But if you look at actual crime statistics, um, in the United States, I lived in San Antonio, Houston, and Waco. Those were like the three big cities I lived in, and also out in the middle of nowhere as a child. And the crime rate statistically here is half of what it was in those cities that I just mentioned. So when someone's saying, "Oh my God, the crime rate," you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt, because are you comparing it to the crime rate in a big city compared to the middle of nowhere? Well, yeah, obviously there's more crime in Montevideo. Um, there's not a lot of violent crime. There's objectively and statistically less violent crime here than there is in those cities I mentioned in the US. And nobody, when I lived in San Antonio, thought I was living in some crazy, scary place, right? So look up the statistics. I would also say, as a woman, I have taken the bus alone at 1 a.m. like it, with no thought. Like it to me, I don't feel any sense of danger. Um, I'm also like, I wear a crossbody purse and I keep everything in there, and it's like up against my body. And even if it's winter, my coat is like zipped up outside of it, just like I would do if I went to any city. In San Antonio, in Houston, in Paris, I had the same, literally the same purse, and I did the same thing in Paris. Um, you just have to be smart about your surroundings. And there's crime, of course there is. People experience that, but it's not more so than any other city. It's just a city. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't, crime would not be something that would deter me from moving here. In fact, I think there's less crime here than in the US, depending on the city. Okay. Oh, thanks, Laura. I almost said Loudy. Okay, Laurie. um, what kind of volunteering? So Edna asked, what kind of volunteering could an English-speaking retiree do in Uruguay? Volunteering is very interesting here because a lot of services are offered and they are paid services, like the government pays the person providing it. So, like, if I was like, I know how to play the violin, so I can go in to schools or neighborhoods and teach violin lessons. The thing is, that might take the job away from the violin teacher that's being paid by the government for that thing. So, I'm not like it's like some big conspiracy. It's just like reality. Like, this is a country where the tax dollars go to take care of the people. And so with volunteering, you would want to make sure that you're doing it respectfully, and like it may be in conjunction with something else. Like, I am an English teacher and I might offer, like, if I was going to try to volunteer my services as an English teacher, I might go to my kids' school and say, "Hey, summer's coming up. I'd be happy to do like a little English program and whatever." And that might be okay if I did it in conjunction with the already existing structures, if that makes sense. Um, but it's just not the same atmosphere as it is in the US, where there's like a lot of volunteering opportunities because like the needs are being taken care of more. So I do know that a lot of there are a lot of volunteering opportunities with animals, animal rescues, and things like that. People love animals here. Okay. Someone asked, "What neighborhood should I avoid?" I'm sorry, guys. I'm so tired. We went to bed at like 3 a.m., so I'm just so tired right now. What neighborhood should I avoid? Um, I have a video about neighborhoods of Montevideo, and I would say if you're in any of those, you'll be fine. Um, there are like Malvin Norte is somewhere that is kind of known for being pretty rough. There's certain areas, but as an immigrant, I promise you, you're not gonna be near those. Like if you stay in the typical kind of areas that people who move here live, you'll be fine. Like I wouldn't worry too much about it. Let's see. Bum bum bum. San Antonio, Texas. Yeah. Oh, I want everything from HEB. It is definitely like there are some days I'm like I would just kill someone for some breakfast tacos right now, like that I don't make. I can make them, but I can't drive through anywhere and get them. So, oh my goodness. Um, I love HEB. HEB is so great. It's honestly just the best store ever, and I do miss it a lot. I did bring back. I went to my mom's wedding in May, and I brought back some HEB stuff. So, um, okay. Oh, this is an interesting question that I've never gotten. As a Buddhist, would I experience any religious issues? No, not even a little bit. Like, not even a little bit. It's more than half of the country is non-religious, and so I mean, I guess okay. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get canceled or anything. I will just say, like in the U.S., Jehovah's Witnesses are like very persistent, right? Like if you're in a park, they'll like chase you down. They'll come to your door. And here I've seen them and they just have a sign, but they're just like drinking mate and like they do not attempt to engage with you. Like they have their sign and you can engage with them. So that is like my little microcosm example that I'm going to give. People are very like, you do your religion and also don't bother me with your religion. So you'll be fine. And there's a really beautiful Buddhist temple. We could not go because it was closed when we went, but near Minas, with M-I, like this, Minas, Minas. There's a really, really beautiful temple. I haven't seen it with my eyeballs. I only saw it in pictures. But there's that temple there. So you can continue to practice here for sure, and nobody's gonna bother you at all. I promise. Um, they Peter, I'm trying to. It's a nuanced thing with the volunteer because it's not. There certainly could be volunteer programs. You know what I mean? It's that um, if you started a volunteer organization and it took jobs away, like this person's getting paid to do this, that might rub some people the wrong way. So I would just cooperate with the people around you and figure out, like, I wouldn't come in saying, I'm going to volunteer and do this. I would come in and, get the lay of the land, figure things out, figure out what might be a need. And there are needs, for sure, there are needs, but you don't want to come in. You don't want to be that person who's like coming in like, oh, let me help, like in a kind of arrogant way that people might bristle at that. So I would just say, if your heart's in the right place and you love people and you want to help people, there are plenty of opportunities to do that. I do that in my neighborhood all the time. Like if people are sick, I bring them food. Like it's not through an organization, it's just through me knowing people and helping. But if I know that in my neighborhood, if I was like, hey, I want to do this thing, what would be the best way? Somebody would help me do that in the appropriate manner. It's just not as like, I mean, I volunteered extensively in the US. I always volunteered with stuff. I love volunteering. So I'm just saying it's a very different vibe here. It, it's just not the same. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining it, but um, shorty short, I would say that I always recommend Aldo and Magdalena. I know I've done it in previous things and I have it on my website. They are both listed in my, um, like in the guide to doing a scouting trip. I don't know. I just, it's not a lawyer question because you don't need to be a lawyer here to do immigration. I probably have said this many times, but the way it's been explained to me by everyone I know who is a relocation specialist is Uruguay is not trying to keep anyone out. They want people to come in. They just want people to have the right requirements. So it's very much like check these boxes and you're good. So you don't need a lawyer to advocate for you. You just need a person who is like making sure that you're checking all the boxes. So on my relocation thing, Aldo Neto or Magdalena Lazaneo are both amazing. I would definitely talk with either one of them, um, to make sure, like, which it's not even like to make sure you can get in. It's just like making a plan of which route and like what timeline you're going to have and preparing that ahead of time. Um, the other thing, I know you said until I'm 62, if you're over a certain age, you may have to pay extra to join the healthcare system. So people over 60 have to pay a joining fee. So count that into your like relocation expenses. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know if you can get approval with a lump sum, or I just know the way we did it, which we have jobs here. So I'm sorry. I wish you could bring HB with you too. I love HB. Oh, water quality is good. It's better than Texas. We started drinking the water right out of the tap as soon as we got here. So you don't have to worry about like, will it make me sick? Absolutely not. Um, there are some older buildings, so depending on where you live, you may want to get the water tested if it's an old building to make sure the pipes are okay. But um, I'm from San Antonio where we have like the hardest water. So to me, the water is not that hard, but um, it's fine. It's okay. It's not so. It's actually less than Texas for sure. So I use less conditioner here. Okay. Somebody said Uruguay is a real country. I mean, yeah. Um, okay. Oh, Richard. Um, Hello from South Carolina. Half my family is from South Carolina. So my grandma was from Anderson, and my grandpa was from Dillon, like close to Florence. And so I love South Carolina, and I've spent a lot of time in South Carolina, and we have um, just a lot of family in South Carolina, and I love it. It's a beautiful place, but unfortunately, the politics are a little bit wild. But yeah, I hope that when you come back, it goes well for you. And you know, I have met a lot of people from here who lived in the U.S. but then came back because they just felt like they wanted peace again. And I really resonate with that because I feel like our children are having just a much more peaceful childhood here than they would in the US because I'm not worried about, well, they don't do drills at school, and I'm not worried about a lot of the things that I worried about in the US. They're just being very happy children, living happy children lives, you know. Aw, what? We have like a whole thing going here of South Carolina, Anderson and Florence. Oh my gosh. I love it. And I really love like the Appalachian Mountains. Like, if I wish I could live not in Asheville, but like we stayed for a month near Black Mountain, and just every day was paradise. We loved it. And I think we would move there in a heartbeat if I could scoop that out and put it in a safe country. Okay. Let's see. We need people, yeah. Yeah. It was really horrific to see the hurricane damage in Asheville. Because we had just been there like a year before, and oh my god, it's so sad. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to segue now because we're talking about natural disasters and things. And I'm going to try, because I'm always like very careful about what I say, or I try to be. I feel like things are really just worldwide getting really wild, and I am worried about things like natural disasters and just everything that could go wrong, economic collapse, attacks, whatever, right? Like there's so many different ways things could go so wrong. And one thing that especially with the week that we just had, I'm not even going to talk about the things, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm saying this on September 14th, the week we just went through. Some things went down in the US that were kind of dramatic. And I think that, um, you know, it's caused me and my husband both to reflect a lot on being here. And one of the things about being here is that the people here are really kind and really scrappy. I'm saying that with the nicest connotation possible. Like, when things go wrong, people don't panic. They just figure it out. And that's a huge change, like that I noticed from coming from the US to here. For example, the power went out in our whole neighborhood for like an hour and a half. It was not a big deal. I don't know what happened. Homer Simpson flipped the wrong switch, whatever. Something happened, power went out, and the whole neighborhood was down. And, I have been in Texas when the power went out for days. So my immediate response was, I need to buy ice. Like, what do I need to do? Like, da da da. And I went downstairs to the almacen, which is like a little corner store, and my friend owns it. I was like, hey, what do I need to do? Like, how long is power going to be out? Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, casi, tranqui. Why are you panicking? This is crazy. And I was like, well, but like, how long will the power, like, should I buy ice? Like, what do I do? And she's like, the power's going to come back on like really soon. It's no big deal. Like, why are you panicking? And she had in her store like flashlights, and people were just still shopping with a flashlight. And she was just keeping a tab and like, okay, come back and pay me when the power comes back on, you know? And just the way people were the most unbothered by this thing that happened. I was like, you know what? Like, if I'm going to exist in 2025 when everything is being just all over the place and nothing's predictable and everything is wild, I'm glad to be here because at least people care about each other and they don't panic and they are really calm about things and like try to just get through. And I know I'm ranting right now. I'm like going on and on, but I just feel like very happy about the decision we made to move here because like the week after that a friend visited me from the US and she was like, I was telling her this story. I'm like, oh my God, it was so crazy because the power went out, but like nobody cared and it came back on and it was no big deal. And she was telling me about how she lives in these like bougie apartments in Dallas. And she was like, the water went out, like they had to replace the main line or whatever. So the water went out for like 2 hours. It wasn't even that long, like 2 hours. They announced ahead of time, the water's going to be out. We have to replace this main. Boom, boom, boom. Middle of the day, like, and she said in her like building group chat, people were losing their minds. They were like, how am I gonna how am I gonna exist? Like da da da. And she's like, walk to the store and buy water, like, or just wait 2 hours. Like it's not that big a deal. And she was like, people just came completely unglued and they didn't know what to do and they lost their minds. And so I'm saying, I guess, with this long rant that we here, it's just the opposite. People are like, it's fine. We'll get through it. No big deal. Don't worry. Okay, sorry. My rant is over. Alejandro says, is there a part of Uruguay that you would like to visit? Every part. I want to go to every place in Uruguay. I really want to visit Mercedes because I teach some classes there and I would like to go visit my students. So that would be the top of my list, but just because my students are there and I really love to go visit them. I think, okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Artigas that has like the amethyst mines? My children absolutely love rocks and gemstones and things like that. So we are hoping, especially maybe this summer, to make a trip up to Artigas, thank you, and go to the amethyst mines and see all of that. That would be, and then like in my brain, I'm like, oh my God, and if we could go to the waterfalls, it would be wonderful. But I don't know how much. I mean, if we could just go to the mines, my kids would already be very, very, very happy about that. And maybe we can even stop like along the way. Like I've been to Paso de los Toros, and so maybe we can make like a whole little journey up through the middle of the country. But yeah, I would love everything. I also want to go to Chuy and see that. Like I feel like the border town there is. I haven't been there, but what people say is really interesting. So I'd love to go there too. Medical stuff. Okay, I have several medications I take. How difficult is it to find a doctor before I get residency so my prescriptions can be filled? Okay, excellent question. So I would like to remind you that our journey of moving here, we had no idea what we were doing, and we just kind of made it up as we went along. So there were some things we could have done better. And anyway, But one thing I feel like we did do right is we had a like travel health insurance policy, like catastrophic policy. Like they don't pay for doctors and stuff, but if I was hit by a bus or something and had a huge medical bill, it would have kicked in. We had that, and then we went to British Hospital, which is in Montevideo, but I think they just opened a clinic. Oh, Aldo's going to be so mad at me that I don't know for sure because I feel like he told me this. I feel like they just opened a clinic in Maldonado or maybe Punta del Este. British Hospital, it's in their charter that the doctor speaks English or they provide a translator. So when we arrived, we made appointments with them right away. And you can go and have appointments there and just pay out of pocket. And it'll be about $100 per appointment, 4,000 pesos. But for us, it was like, okay, we had our doctor in the US prescribe like a 3-month prescription, like as much as we could get. And then when we came here, we immediately got appointments with British Hospital. We were in within a couple of weeks. Like it doesn't take long. Even for like pediatric specialists, we were in with, there was a pediatric specialist we waited 8 months for in the US that we got in within 2 weeks here. So you will be able to get in pretty quick, mostly. And then they can refill your prescription for you. And then that kind of gives you some breathing room because you aren't going to get off the plane and rent an apartment and get healthcare and do all the in one day. Like that's not going to happen. That's not realistic. You need to give yourself like a grace period. And when I say a grace period, I mean like 6 months. Like if I figure out one thing a day, I'm doing great. Like, so get your prescription filled with the English speaking doctor or with a translator. And then you have time to breathe, join a mutualista. And then when you go there, you can say, like, hey, here's my medicine. Like, you can take your medicine and be like, hey, this is what I take. It's clearly prescribed by an Uruguayan doctor. And then they'll just continue it. That was our experience anyway. Like, they were like, oh, okay. Da-da-da. And so that's kind of a bridge for that period that you're like new here and everything's hard and you're trying to figure out everything. Like, don't add in also trying to get prescriptions in Spanish. Just pay the extra money and go to British Hospital and get your prescription and move forward from there. Okay. What documents do you need to open a bank account? Oh my gosh. I started to make a video about opening a bank account, but then I wanted to like explain the history of why there's so many regulations on them. And then I got into like a research hole and then it hasn't happened yet. Opening a bank account here is like, I feel like I gave as many documents here to open a bank account as I did to get a mortgage in the US. Like, we provided tax returns, we provided letters from our bank in the US stating that we were good customers and our accounts were current, and et cetera, et cetera. We had to provide a letter from my husband's employer because he was working remote at the time, saying that they knew he was working remote. So that's a big one. Like, sometimes people will be like, my employer doesn't want me to work abroad, but I'll just VPN and they'll never know. That's not a good plan if you're coming here, because for a bank account and for your immigration process, you're probably going to need your employer to sign off that they know you're here. Not saying, I know that the 25 people who are watching this right now would never try to do that because y'all are angels and the most ethical, lovely people. Just in case anybody knows anyone who might want to do that, it's not a great idea. Don't do it. Let's see. I'm gonna. Oh, I should probably shouldn't go out of order, but I am. It's probably a bad idea. If you have your own business, that would be totally different, and you probably will have to talk with your immigration person, with Aldo Magdalena, and like arrange, because if you have your own business, it just depends on how it's all set up. Because I know people who have like a business in the US and pay themselves out of it, and then they just kind of create the paperwork trail to show that that's a legitimate thing. Like they're not lying, they're just creating the paperwork trail to explain that. But in some cases, it makes more sense if you're like the only person of your business and you're a consultant. You have to like weigh, it might make more sense to have your business based here. It just totally depends on like so many different factors. So I would definitely talk with someone about that before deciding what you do. Oh, I'm sorry, but buying tortillas here, I might miss tortillas more than anything else. um, you know, I'm from San Antonio, so I could always go get like the best amazing tortillas, always, corn or flour. Um, Flour tortillas you can make here. The difference will be that you will not be able to buy the lard that you make flour tortillas with. It's pork lard, if I'm remembering correctly, in the US. Here they don't have that. It took me many months to realize that they use beef tallow, basically. And it's sold on a shelf like in this little bag that doesn't look like, it just doesn't, it wasn't in my brain that that's what that was. And then once I realized what it was, I was like, oh my God, I'm so dumb. This was everywhere all along. So I make flour tortillas with beef tallow. Personally, they're delicious. I think it makes them taste better. The downside is we have some friends from India, and so I can't make Mexican food for them because I don't have like a tortilla that I can make without that. Beef tallow is all I have been able to find easily. I'm sure that I could find something else, but easily in my neighborhood, I can only find beef tallow. Corn tortillas, no, and they do not have the nixtamalized corn masa to make corn tortillas. If you move here, message me. There's a lady that makes corn tortillas and she'll deliver them to your house. They're really expensive. We don't do it often, but someone does it. I don't know if she brings in I don't know how she does it, but she makes good corn tortillas. But yeah, we are pretty distraught that because we were like the family, like I used to buy like 100 corn tortillas at a time, and my kids like snack was like Oaxaca cheese with corn tortillas. Oh no, that doesn't exist anymore. But I would also say like there's a Facebook group called Mexicanos in Uruguay, and that group, that's where I found the tortilla lady. And also I found like somebody will announce like I found jalapenos at this place, or I found habaneros at this place, or like people will bring back different spices and things. So if you make a lot of Mexican food, I would say join that group. Okay. ESL teacher. I'm sorry, I'm talking so long. You might have already dropped off, Brendan. I'm sorry. ESL teacher. That's what I do. I teach English. What I will share is if you are already an ESL teacher, you're good to go. I hate it when people are like, I've never taught anything, but I'll get a TEFL and have a job there, because I'm like, that's not serving people very well, first of all. But also, like, people here value education a lot. So it's not like you can just automatically get a job. um, the downside, I will say, and I love my job. I love what I do. I get to work with the best kids and co-teachers and everything. So I won't say a bad word about it, but I will just, with your planning, you will not make a lot of money. Um, the program I teach in, I make about $12 an hour. Um, and I have friends who make less than $10 an hour as English teachers. And then in my program, I'm like one of the heavy hitters. Like I work the most hours, and I only work 25 hours. I mean, I work like a lot more than that because I have to grade papers and lesson plan and all that. But I'm teaching for 24 hours, so 25 hours a week. So you can't expect that it's going to provide you an income that would sustain you here. It absolutely will not. Like I make enough to like pay the rent. But that's it. Like, wait, here's my kids being loud again. Let's see. I hope that answers your question, Brendan. It is lovely to teach here. Like the kids are way more respectful of teachers, and like I enjoy teaching here a lot. Like if I won the lottery and I had $1 billion, I probably still would teach a little bit. So there's that, but you won't make a ton of money. Okay. Oh, so somebody says my plan is to get an Airbnb for 90 days and then work on finding an apartment during that time. Is there a better way? That's what we did. And the better way, I would say, is move Airbnbs every month, because we tried out 3 different neighborhoods, and you just looking online does not tell you what the neighborhood is like. So we tried out 3 neighborhoods, and the one I thought I would like the most, we hated. Like we just really, really, really hated it. So, and it was beautiful, and there were all these things going for it, and we did not like it. So I would say, again, like even with the healthcare and stuff, I'm always like, sometimes people will move and they are trying to get everything set up so quickly. And I get it because it is settling to be settled, right? Like, but I would say just take your time, just slow down. Um, there's no rush. Like you can get healthcare here. You can enroll your kids in school. You can do all the things with a passport. Just breathe, figure out what you're doing, try some different places. Is it inconvenient to like move your crap around every 30 days? Yeah, it is. Would I change what we did? No, because if I just showed up and in the first week rented a place, it would have been in that neighborhood that I ended up hating because that's the one I thought I would like. So yeah, just just become Uruguayan and relax. Tranqui, it's fine. Um, oh, okay. Well, when you're here, my website has a scouting guide, and it explains like how to use the bus, how to do different things. So it's CassieTheEnglishTeacher.com, and then there's a tab or something. I don't even remember because I just like put it up there. But Uruguay has the downloadable PDF. And then if you get here and you want to hang out, let me know. Are there a lot of pet stores? So many. That's literally the least of your problems if you're moving here. There's so many pet stores. And even the Almacen, like the little bodega downstairs, sells cat litter, cat food, everything. Like that is literally really, really the least of your problems. There, people here love pets. Like they love pets. There are lots of vets. Um, this is a good. You're making me think. I should probably write it down if I can. If there's a pen within reach, I'll write it down. Um, I even know an English speaking vet, which is not on my scouting guide, so I need to add it. But yeah, there's a vet in every neighborhood. Um, there are pet stores in every neighborhood. Like, really, you won't need to worry at all about that. The little dogs, like, everybody's walking their dog with a little coat and clothing and stuff. Like, okay. Any more questions? We're coming up on the end here. I'm so like dehydrated because we went on this long date last night and we were just having fun and I didn't drink any water. So I'm like, oh, I'm dying. Julie, there's a process now, and I'm gonna say that when we arrived 2 years ago, we just went to the neighborhood school and it was fine. And maybe it was fine because that school had openings, you know what I mean? And we went with like our neighbor took us, like an Uruguayan took us to help us get enrolled. I think this year they rolled out a new program where you like enroll online and there's like a matching system and things. I wish I could tell you more. Again, I am going to make a video with Ignacio. He's going to help me with this video and make sure everybody knows how to do it. Um, it's not necessarily the closest school, but it would be like walkable distance. You know what I mean? Like you can choose a place and you'll be able to get there. Um, I wish I could tell you more, but it was like just so easy for us. We just walked up and we're like, yeah, let's be at the school, and they were like, sure. Um, oh, electronics. So somebody asked, how much more expensive are the electronics here compared to the US? Um, Quite a bit more. We have tariffs. So the tariffs are a lot, but then it's like the tariffs limit how many companies bring stuff in. So it's not even just that it increases the amount of the tariffs, it increases even more than that. So they can be really expensive, but it kind of depends, you know. Like phones can be really, really expensive, and things like iPads and computers and things, but they're not like prohibitively so. Like we're looking to get a TV, and I think my husband was just telling me like, oh, I was walking through and I saw there was one for like $170. Like that's not super expensive, you know. So yeah, Julie, I was talking about like primary schools. You could you tell them what school you want to be in and whether that school has openings. They might put you in other places. It's a process, you know what I mean. But everyone I know whose kids go to like a public school here, they walk to school, so it would be at least walkable to your neighborhood. I mean, people do. There's no school buses here. They like students use the public bus, like the city bus, and they're free if they're wearing their school uniform, their public school uniform. And so even if they had to take a bus, they that would be free. But da-da-da. How did you move your savings to Uruguay? Um, We haven't moved. You can continue to have all of your bank accounts and things in the U.S. We still have a business in the U.S. We still have our retirement accounts in the U.S. Things like that. So we didn't move it all down here. We kind of our jobs are here, so we get paid here and we pay our bills here, and then like our stuff in the U.S. we just kind of like forgotten about. It's just up there doing that. Um, you can use a bank transfer if you open a bank account here. Um, it's not too difficult. Although I'm going to give this huge caveat. I know people who use like a credit union and they had a hard time transferring their money here. So I would recommend, I don't have any affiliation with Chase Bank. They're probably evil and horrible, but Chase Bank is the like intermediary bank here. Like if you transfer your money here, it's going to go through Chase Bank. So and then there will be that extra little fee. So sometimes I tell people if you have like a little tiny credit union in your little town, I would open a Chase account just to make transferring money easier. But it's not financial advice. What I need to like have a disclaimer on the screen when I'm talking. Be like, I'm not giving financial advice, but I know for certain that you can transfer money very easily from a Chase bank account down here to a bank account here. Let's say it that way. Um, and is it better to keep your savings in the US? Listen, the world we're in, who knows? I mean, it might be best to keep your money in your mattress. I don't know. Um, nobody knows the future. I don't know. We have our like 401ks up there, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna cash that out and move it here or something like that. We have jobs here, so we are paying into retirement here. So I don't like, honestly, I feel a little bit good having things spread out and like, well, I have like two places where money is and in different ways, and but who knows, to be honest. Um oh, that's an easy question. Somebody says, I'm bringing a large box on the plane, but how do I get a cab from the airport? So it will be totally fine because the airport there, it first of all, the Montevideo airport is amazing. Like it's so pretty and it's so small. I think there's like four gates. Like it's so small. And after you check your luggage through customs, right? Like you'll go through passport control, whatever, boom, 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 put your luggage through customs, you'll walk out, and there will be like money changer. Like if you want to take dollars and change them into pesos, which I recommend doing. Yes, it's the rate is worse than you would get elsewhere, but like I'm always like every time I travel anywhere in the world, I'm like, I just need some walking around money. Maybe I'm just ancient, but I feel like if I have some walking around money, I'll be okay. So I would say change a few $100s into pesos right there. Like literally, you wouldn't even walk out of the doors yet, and it's there. And then right outside the door is like an airport taxi company. And they have cars, but they also have vans. So when we arrived, there were four of us and we had 8 suitcases. Like there's no way we would have fit in cars. And but we had not arranged anything. We just showed up at the airport and that taxi company had a van. Is it more expensive? Of course. Yeah, of course. Anything dealing with an airport is more expensive. It's another thing like I was talking about with British Hospital. Like when you are new here, you will be getting off of a 24-hour travel day. You'll be exhausted. You'll be like, "Oh my god, I don't know what to do. Everything's new." Pay an extra 50 bucks. Even if I could tell you the way to save that, like just do what's easy because in that moment you'll just be exhausted and it's just better not to worry about it and just let it just pay the extra amount. Jose is talking about Scotiabank is in the USA and in Uruguay. I don't know. So I never checked with Scotiabank. Is it HSBC is here? And when I was in the US, I called them, the branches there. And when I talked to them, they said, it will not help you at all to have this bank account here. We are totally not connected whatsoever. That's a totally different thing. It would be like having a bank with another bank, an account with another bank. So that is one phone call with one customer service agent. Somebody could definitely prove me wrong on that, but I kind of gave up at that point. But I would call Scotiabank and just ask them. I mean, couldn't hurt. Like ask them if it helps to have it there, you know. Edna asks, is it better to take a flight with an overnight layover stop so you can rest partway? What we did, keep in mind we were traveling with two small children. We rented a room at the Hilton airport right outside of the, like in Carrasco, right by the airport. Because I just knew like our flight had 3 legs and we were exhausted. And like, I knew it was going to be a lot. And we got here, we got to the airport. And it was really funny because we got to the airport at like 10 a.m. Like our room wasn't ready. Like you're not allowed to check in yet. But I think we just looked so bad. I think that they were like, these people have seen better days. Like we were just so tired. And my daughter did not sleep on the plane. So we walked into the hotel and she just collapsed on the couch and immediately fell asleep. Like in the lobby couch. And so they were really sweet to us and they opened our room much earlier for us. It was so kind. But yeah, that was life saving because all 4 of us just crashed. And it was in a Hilton. And so, like it was, like what we're used to. It wasn't super weird, not weird is the wrong word, but you know what I mean? Like when you're traveling with kids, it was familiar and we just crashed. An overnight layover, I feel like might cause more trouble than it's worth, to be honest. Like I had a friend who went through Bogota and her flight coming in was delayed, so then she missed the flight in Bogota. And then there wasn't another flight out of Bogota for 3 days. So she had to like stay there 3 days. And she was miserable. Like that was not a plus. She wasn't like, oh, I got to rest and da da. She was like, no, it was horrible. So I would say just fight through the travel day, just get it done, and then crash when you get here. And then wake up refreshed and take your cab into whatever city you wanted to live in and experience Uruguay on a fresh, slept brain. I hope that makes sense. I think you can tell my vibe is always like, just slow down, do it slower. Like, always do it slower, make it longer. It will be fine. You won't miss out on anything by taking your time and going, taking care of yourself while you're doing all of this because it's hard. And I would say, like, I was actually just talking with someone today. I mean, I have a video on my channel that is about the emotional part. And I think I do these, obviously, I do these lives to answer all of these like little nitty gritty questions that, that people have. But I think many, many times I feel like people are so busy with the task, which makes sense because there's thousands of things on the list, right? Like, to move abroad, you have to do 1,000 different little things. So it makes sense that you're task oriented, but don't neglect the emotional part of it. Um, it's rough. It's an emotionally rough thing. And I know a lot of people are not, it's not like, oh, I feel like I want to have an adventure and move abroad. This is going to be lovely. Like, I think a lot more people these days are like, I gotta get out of here. This is not going well. I don't know what we should do. So, especially if you're in the second situation, please, please be gentle and kind with yourself and recognize how emotionally tough it's going to be. And make sure to then build into your process some recovery time from those things, if that helps. Oh my gosh. So he says, my therapist has joked she might move here too to help traumatized expats. I In our little expat group that I run, it's not called an expat group because I actually hate the word expats. I call it immigrants, but we have a grief group run by a therapist, and it's very structured. But yeah, she recognized that, like, it's it's an emotional thing and it's hard to do, and we all need some space. So, you know, just really, really keep that in mind. It's really hard, and like, especially um the top two reasons that I've seen people move here and then move back, or like leave again. Number one is employment and money and jobs. Like, if somebody loses a job and they can't find a new job, whatever, like, money always is the thing. The number two reason that people end up leaving is in their partnerships, whether that's a marriage or a partnership, whatever it is. Because, like, it is such a difficult thing to do, and it's such an emotional thing to do, and everyone deals with that in a really different way, and so I think that I recommend, well, I've recommended for years, like, my husband and I always did preventative marriage therapy. Like, we once a month, let's just go, just in case there's something that might bubble up and we aren't talking about, and I'm still stand by that. Like, every married couple should be in therapy, like, just all the time. Like, it should just be like kind of a checkup that you have. But when we were about to move here, we like ramped that up a lot, and had a lot more sessions, and we had a great therapist, and she really made sure that we were on the same page, that we were doing, like, that we were going to be able to communicate and things. And even with all that, it's been tough. It's been tough. So, like, it's a hard thing to do. Your kids are going to struggle. Everybody's going to struggle. So, like, every little tiny thing you can do to make that easier on an emotional level, do it. Whether that's taking the more expensive airport taxi, or paying British Hospital to have an English speaking psychiatrist give you your sertraline, or whatever. Like, take those little things at the beginning, because I promise you, there's like a mountain going on in the back of your brain, and you just want to have your brain space available to deal with that, if that makes sense. Now I feel like I'm getting kind of like hippy dippy. So maybe I'll stop talking. um, Jason, I am not talking about anything to do with the IRS or anything. I, that's why I don't answer those questions, because I'm just like, yep, if you talk to an accountant, talk to your bank. I don't want to be blamed for anybody getting in trouble. So I'm very, very hesitant to ever tell anybody what to do with their money. Um, no, thank you, Jay. I appreciate it very, very much. And I do know that, like, I was a bank teller, so I know that, like, Reg CC does say like $10,000 is the limit, and like things have to be reported. So even with my like being a bank teller, I'm still like, no, I don't want to say anything, because what if I say it wrong? And mostly I just don't want to ever steer anyone in the wrong direction. So um, again, that's why I'm always like, talk to Aldo, talk to Magdalena, talk to whoever is helping you immigrate, have a team of people that you trust, and have a plan, and hopefully avoid any trouble. Okay, I'm gonna give you like one more minute to anybody else who has a question. You better type it in a minute, because I am really exhausted. I'm gonna go to bed. I have to teach first thing in the morning, so I need to get some sleep. Okay. Uh-oh. Jason's asking a question. I'm waiting for it. Oh my gosh. This is not from Jason. This is from a different person. So he says, how easy is it to find pastries like in a coffee shop? If you love pastries, this is the country for you. They love sweets here. There are so many sweets. Um, that is the least of your worries. It's amazing. They might be called something different. Like, they don't say croissant, they'll say media luna, or biscochos, or like all of the different little pastries. But oh my god, they're I don't like sweets, so I can't tell you that I love them so much. But my husband and my son have sweet teeth. My husband and son have a sweet tooth. Let's say it that way. And they love the sweets here. That's like the one food they love here. So yeah, you'll be fine. Oh, Jason, what gaming store runs the best campaigns? I don't know, man. They're all good. I love Mornar store. I will forever love Mornar store, because when we first moved here, there's 3 guys that own that store, and they are all just the nicest people you've ever met in your life. And they were so unbelievably kind to my kids, who were like semi traumatized. Like, they just went, just moved to a new continent, and they don't speak the language, and they're totally confused. And that store was like my kids' lifeline for a long time. So, best gaming store in my heart is always going to be Mornar store, because they were so sweet to us. And they have a little like gaming area that people run campaigns in, and they have a little cafe. And the guy who runs the cafe is a great cook. Like, I actually really like his food. And he's really sweet too. Oh my gosh, he's the best. And anyway, so, and I happen to know that they are running Dungeons and Dragons campaigns now that are like language exchange programs. So like half of the participants will be Spanish speakers and half English, and the idea is to like teach and share language. So yeah. Anyway, there's a bunch of others though. I mean, I have a friend who plays 40K, and she would probably have a very different opinion than me, because that's her deal. Okay. Jason, once you go Alfajore, you don't go back. Yeah. My son loves the alfajores. Um, it is funny though because I was teaching here and I didn't know the word alfajor. Um, and I was like making teams with my students, my high school students, and I was like, "Hey, give your team a team name," and I'm like the Tigers or Team Blue or whatever. And the team was like, "We're the Alpha Whores." It's like, ooh, what? Repeat that. Uh, what are you? And then afterwards, they're like, like this thing, and I was like, oh, okay, that's not what my brain heard because I'm a horrible person. Okay, I think maybe we're done with questions. I feel like these videos probably suck because I'm like looking down at the chat, and I'm not good at this yet, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up then, unless I get another question. I always really, really want to answer everything I can. Um, I'm trying my best to get the videos that people really want out. Um, I appreciate everyone. I like always say it, but I'm just still shocked that anybody watches any of these videos. And I'm really, really grateful to get to do this. I love it. It's so much fun, and I also really, really genuinely love when somebody moves here. And please, like, okay, I made friends with someone at my kid's school, and they're from the U.S. And she was like, "Oh, well, actually, like, I watch your videos, but I didn't want to be weird, and like, I saw you, I've seen you, I didn't want to be weird. Be weird. I'm weird. Always be weird. That's the best choice. Like, tell me, hey, I saw your video, because I'm very, very happy to meet people and help where I can, and welcome you here to Uruguay. I love it. Like, I genuinely, it makes me so happy when somebody I've been like talking with. I do consultations, so if like somebody did a consultation with moves here, like, I'm so happy to get coffee. Like, it's so much fun and I love it. And so please don't ever feel like that's weird. Sometimes I get overwhelmed because I have a lot of work and school and commitments, and my kids are in a billion sports. But like, if you see me or something or reach out, like, I promise, be weird. It's fine. And I do consultations. So if you feel like, I feel like I'm trying to put as much information out there so that you can self-guided tour. Like, I'm not gatekeeping any information. Like, I'm putting everything out there. But if you feel like it would be helpful to meet with you one-on-one or meet with your family and talk about things, I also do that. So just email me. Like, my website is CassieTheEnglishTeacher.com. There's a contact link there. Do that, and I'm happy to meet with anyone. So, okay, I've been talking enough. I'm gonna I'm gonna hang up. Thank you all for hang up. I'm so old. Hang up, really, Cassie? Really, hang up? Oh my god. I will see you guys in a couple weeks. My plan is this week to interview 2 people who brought pets. So I hope that next Sunday I will have the video that everybody's asked for about bringing pets. Please, just everybody light all the candles and cross your fingers and say all the prayers to all the gods that happens, because I have been trying for so long. So, okay. Good night. Have a good week. Be safe. Um, have some mate if you can. And I'll see you next week. Ciao, ciao.